Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. The next episode of Red Valkyrie is about to start. Hello and welcome to another episode of Red Valkyrie. I'm your host, Shae the Red, and I am here with the crazy talented Russ Leach. How are you doing, sir?
Hi, fine, thanks.
So for those of you who can't tell by the very obvious accent, Russ is British, and so it's a little late where he is. So we are going to be very grateful that he is wanting to come and hang out with us. And we're going to be talking about your book, Only Death Can Save Us.
That's right. Yep.
And we figured the best way to start out would be to watch the video, because, I mean, you put all the work into the video, might as well watch it, right?
Yep, why not? Yep, give it a go.
All right.
Only Death Can Save Us is a Bronze Age-inspired cosmic fantasy romp, bringing together action and pathos as the ancient elemental known as Death leaps from his ethereal retirement to help a young soul protect her loved ones, a world, and even existence itself.
Sign up exclusively at Indiegogo for Only Death Can Save Us.
All right. I'm gonna be wholly honest. Little hard to hear.
Yeah.
Some of that voiceover.
It comes up a bit muffled sometimes. I'm gonna have to adjust the sound on that. So, but yeah, I'm not a video guy, so I'm looking for any help I can get on that one.
Fantastic. We definitely know some people who are very good at video editing and have a little bit of experience. So you guys heard it. If you are down to try and help out Russ a little bit with the cleaner audio, so you can actually hear what this awesome comic is about, because the artwork looks awesome. Like, this is a very like nostalgia, old school kind of comic look to it.
Thank you. That's what I'm trying to get. So yeah, it's inspired by the books, the stories, the creators that I loved as a young man and as a boy, and it's just something that I'm trying to bring back, as it were. What I love about the Bronze Age is, okay, some of the stories were a bit cheesy, but it was all fun and action. And
yeah.
I like that somebody else coined the phrase, but it was romance, not sex. It was action, not violence. It's a hero's journey, not ideology. So also something else I was trying to do is make it all ages. So even though it's serious and it's action, you can put it down on the desk or on the table, and anyone can pick it up and not be offended by it. There's no gore in it.
Yeah,
but there's lots of fun fights and interactions between the characters.
That's awesome. Jason says it reminds him of George Perez. Very cool.
Too much praise. Too much praise.
All right, so why don't you tell us a little bit about what exactly Only Death Can Save Us is about?
Right. Okay. It's I don't want to give too much away for the story, but it's effectively the connection between Death, who is an elemental. He's part of a team of 4 elementals who are, through history and through the misunderstandings of history, both alien and human, have become known as the 4 Horsemen. But actually, they're the pillars of creation. That's who they're called by the Supreme, who is, I suppose, a godlike figure. Anyway, you can see if you read the 8-page story here, it's the first 8 pages of the story of the book, and this is where he meets Chrissy, a young soul who's newly departed, and he finds out how she's departed, and that takes them on their journey together, on their adventure, and he's got to save he's got to save Earth. He's got to save her family. He's got to save humankind. But he's also got to save existence itself, and that's where the story opens up later on beyond the 8-page preview.
Yeah, this was a fun kind of read, especially because she's exactly like what I would imagine, like a younger female who's trying to tell a story, and she's like, so there's this, and like that one place it was really bad because, and he's just like, I don't care about that. What is the important stuff? That's like, give me the details.
Yeah, that's part of him as well. He's short, short-tempered. Yeah, short-tempered. Purely because he spent the whole of his existence being death, effectively, and he listens to the stories of the departed souls on their journey to either nirvana or on to further reincarnation or whatever it might be, and it's kind of his job to process it. There's a deeper story behind that. There's deeper cosmic lore behind it that does surface. And that is touched upon in this book, and hopefully in the arc of books. I have an arc of 4 books that I want to produce, and it's that interaction between them, and she brings out more of the, I suppose, the humanity in him as time goes on.
That's awesome. Well, and so like looking through this, first off, Kirby Crackle is one of my favorite things ever, especially when it's done well. Yeah. And it's all over in this, which makes me so very happy.
Oh, that's good.
But it was really funny when I was like reading these little bits to try and kind of get a feel for it. And she's over here like, you did such a good job, because I'm listening to like have her voice in my head, and it sounds very young female, like obnoxious kind of thing that I normally would be like, oh my gosh, I hate when these girls talk. And then she's like, all of a sudden just breaks it out, and she goes, oh, we've been working on a way to extract energy from different dimensions of reality. And I'm like, you're a fucking scientist? Oh, I hate you even more now. Like, oh my gosh. Like she says things that just sound so young and naive. And then she like busts out when she starts talking about her education and what she's skilled in. Yeah. All of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, I'm like a nuclear physicist. And you're like, oh.
I wanted her to be relatable. That's what she needed to be. She needed to be human. So there's 2 aspects to it. She's obviously intelligent. Yes. But as you know, we all know people like this that are like incredibly mega intelligent, brains the size of a planet, but
just kind of thick.
They're kind of a bit sort of all over the place. They're a bit airheaded, and that's what I wanted her to be. So it's that intelligence comes through because she's obviously on the team. She knows what she's talking about, but she's just gone out to get some milk. and she comes back and find a whole horde coming through. So and it's that also that that youth and irreverence that obviously Death wasn't going to have anything about. He was this thing. I always imagined Death to actually speak in a sort of very gruff British tones.
Oh, I could see that. Yeah,
there are a few places where I put some British colloquialisms in, and so it makes him that sort of guttural feel. But at the same time, he obviously understands the cosmos, so he's got a little bit more about him than just being a blunt tool, as it were.
Well, it's just such a cool and interesting kind of concept where you've taken the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse and you've like repurposed them, and it's like, oh, it's not that they're not the ones that are bringing about the destruction. They're the ones that have created everything.
That they are part of the creative team, as it were. Yes. There's several ages of existence, and they were present for all of those births. And they're part of the team. They're part of the Supreme's team. So the Supreme is effectively, she's effectively God, I suppose. But again, there's deeper cosmic background to this. It isn't religious. I have gone and done some research on Sumerian and religious texts just to pick out names and bits and pieces that could be pertinent in a way that you could get them wrong. They could be misconstrued throughout time. So I've gone and done some of that research, but it isn't religious per se. It's more about how existence comes into being, whether the nature of reality is at base consciousness rather than objective reality. There's all this kind of stuff thrown in because I enjoy that kind of thing. So, anywhere between pseudoscience and quantum physics, I just find it really interesting and very fertile ground to use for this kind of cosmic drama.
Well, I mean, absolutely, especially if you start looking at, I mean, how many people have used the concepts that are like the four horsemen of the apocalypse or death itself, death as an actual character, and played around with that. There's so much that you can do with it, and there's so many ways that people have tried telling their stories through that lens. And I think that somehow you managed to find a pretty unique way to do so, which is shocking.
You. Well, I wanted to do something for me. I've drawn for other publishers. I've done Doctor Who and drawn some stuff for Marvel and what have you. And I really wanted to do something for me. I wanted to create an IP, and I'd done another script that was again very Bronze Age inspired. But I wanted something more action orientated. The script that I'd produced prior to that was a bit more esoteric, and I wanted something that was going to be action. I wanted something that was going to jump, something that I could do a series of as well, that I could bring back and do lots of. And I wanted a figure from wherever it might be, whether it be from religion, from mythology, whatever, that was recognizable. And I thought, well, death always seems to be the bad guy. So make him the good, make him the good guy and make him part of this team. And the team is back there in the background. This first incarnation, this first book, is focused on Chrissy and Death, and the big bad guy who is called Satana, and the horde that has come with him, or at least the portion. Again, I can't give too much away, but that's where the first book goes. And you can read it on its own. It's like episodic content, like the old comics used to be in the Bronze Age. So the sort of like 70s, 80s, 90s. It's like that. So you can read the book on its own and kind of enjoy it. But there is a twist at the end, and it moves you into the next book if you want it.
Okay.
So hopefully I get enough people that are really interested in this that I can carry on, making more books. That's the idea.
Right. Absolutely. Well, and so we had talked about this before. So you have 19 days left in your first 30.
Mm-hmm.
So there is still a good chunk of time, and you are already 37% funded, which is phenomenal, because this is.
Yeah. I'm just I'm absolutely stunned. So the backers, thank you so much to the backers. Thank you to everyone who's been giving me time on their streams as well. What I have noticed is just how giving and genuine all the creators are that I've been speaking to. Comicsgate or not, I don't give a monkeys. It's all about making books and create. There's so many great creators out there. The indie scene is it's fizzing at the moment.
Oh, it is.
And for me to have got this kind of backing in the first 10 days or so is phenomenal. I'm just so happy and so grateful for everybody who's doing that. But yes, I want to drive this on and push it up even further. And basically, it's all about stories. I want to tell this story to as many people as I possibly can. So
absolutely. Well, and see, Jason says I think he's doing very well for the first 30 days, which is true. He also wanted to know, is this UK or US size?
This will be a US book.
Okay.
It's excuse me for just reach over. This is this size, and this is this kind of book there. So the artwork in there. This is the kind of stuff that's inspired me.
Okay.
Fantastic for cosmic stuff. Steranko, Buscema, Stalin. Those are the people that really inspired me. And I love that whole cosmic, the Kirby stuff, and it's just that's me. And I wanted to bring that back because I didn't see anybody else doing that kind of thing, to be honest.
There's a lot of more comics from like the late 90s, early 2000s. That style is what it seems a lot of people have gotten into, but I started seeing a couple of people who've really kind of honed in on this more classic colors, more, classic storytelling, and it's cool to see, especially for somebody like me. I did not grow up with comics.
Right.
So my love of comics came when I was in my mid to late 20s. And I was reading, Flash Rebirth. I was reading the New 52. Like, that's the stuff that I started with. And I missed out on a lot of these. And so to see people kind of bringing that style back, it gives me a whole new respect for it. And it's almost like I feel like I get to take part in that as somebody who wasn't there for the first time around.
All right. That's great, because like I was saying about the indie scene at the moment, it's fizzing. There's so much going on.
There really is.
So it's great to have so many people involved in it and feel like they are doing. It's people's chance to do something again for the first time. You know what I mean? Without all the horrible reboots and rehashes that we have going on in comics and entertainment in general.
Right.
It really is a chance. It's a renaissance. It's an indie renaissance.
It is.
And it's the Wild West out there. Platforms like Indiegogo, it's the new printing press. You're getting out there, you're doing stuff. And so the idea of bringing something that I've loved so dearly, and also being able to hone my skills and my style so that I get to this point where I'm not absolutely copying anybody. You can hopefully see the inspirations in my style, but it's got, hopefully I bring something else to the party, as it were. I was inspired also by 90s books. So, there is that, hopefully there is that bombastic element to what I'm doing. But I love the draftsmanship and the act of getting the pages done, which is why I was very much not a writer before and am now. So yeah, I've spent 10 years, because I came back to draw comics in 2010. I got myself on the books for Marvel in the mid 90s. Unfortunately, it didn't happen for me back then. And then, of course, you've got mortgages and kids to pay for. So I went away and had a life. And after several different businesses and bits and pieces, in 2010, I decided to give it a go again. And I've got an incredibly supportive family, and we sold up and got a smaller house so that I could take risks really throw myself at it. Obviously, I had to do other small jobs and stuff as well, but that was what I was mainly doing. And what it gave me is the opportunity to do the 10,000 hours. It gave me the opportunity to really hone what I was doing. And I'm still not there. I've still got so much further to go and so much more to give the craft, but I've been able to get to a point where I'm at least thinking, right, okay, I'm kind of at a point where I can really start to do things now. I can really start to express myself. And I got the opportunity to draw Doctor Who in 2015, which was my first, I suppose, proper professional gig. And that gave me an opportunity to draw for all ages, which I wasn't completely sure was what I wanted to do until I got that opportunity. So it's been a bit of a journey for me over the 10 years, and it's culminated in me being able to put this together and hopefully make a success.
That's so amazing. And the one thing that I wanted to touch on that you said is where you said you're still not there, you still have a lot to give the craft. My kind of mantra has always been, if you ever feel like you're there in something that is a skill set, then you're done. You're done doing it. Once you feel like you're there, then there's nothing more for you. And so if it's something that you love, there's always something more you can learn and something more you can hone. Ethan Van Sciver isn't there. He learns every day. So does Dan Fraga. Oh my gosh. He publicly talks about how he learns every day, and he sees people do stuff and goes, oh man, I wish I could do that. And everybody's looking to him saying, I wish I could do a fraction of what Dan does. And he'll look at Rob and go, did you see how badass Rob's detail was? And you're like, what the hell? Like, so if you ever feel like you're there, then you're done. That's when the fire's gone.
Yeah. Wise words. I mean, I look at Dan Fraga's work and think, wow. Also the way that he produces it
It's so good.
And Ethan's work is it's reminiscent of Brian Bolland. And although my work is nothing like Brian Bolland's, I've always found Brian Bolland to be fascinating. His work is beautiful. His ink work is fantastic, and he was a true professional. I suppose much like Ethan in the way that he approaches the job and way he approaches the work as well. And yeah, fantastic. I see so many great artists.
Oh yeah.
And you look around, and in fact, what the difficult thing is not to look at them and go, oh my God, that's fantastic. I must try and incorporate that.
Mm-hmm.
That you mustn't do. It's great to find an inspiration and say, how did they do that? What did they do? How did they make it look that way? But you also must have a vision of your own style and how you want it to be. Otherwise, you can find yourself being lost. So, for instance, when I was younger, I didn't like Jack Kirby. I think that happens to a lot of artists as younger artists. They're like, well, Jack Kirby, what's going on with all those big blocky arms and weirdness? And as a mature, far more mature artist, I can now look at Jack Kirby and see what a damn genius he was.
Yeah.
And the way that his inks are, right the way through to the way that he created. And it's like that with a lot of artists, and you start appreciating the art around you. Like in the 90s, when I was drawing, I was desperately trying to be a Jim Lee clone. I mean, I love Jim Lee's artwork, but only Jim Lee can be Jim Lee, really.
Right.
And you've got to be yourself. So now I get I hopefully have the ability to appreciate all kinds of different styles, see what they are for what they are, and be true to myself as to what I really want to put on the page. But yeah, you're always learning. You're always looking at other people, always looking at their techniques, the way they do things. It might be as simple as, oh, wow, they caught something in that profile, or a nose or an eye, or all kinds of stuff. And you just want to soak it all up. And you're right. While you're soaking it up and while you're thinking, no, I must do better, I can do better, that's where the passion is. Yep. And while the passion's there, everything's cool.
Well, and that so you're talking about some of your biggest inspirations. So obviously I'm super inspired by Dan, but I don't think that I don't have the grasp of human anatomy or the patience to do all of that intricate detail like he does. Like there's no way. So his style I think is gorgeous and amazing to look at, and it's something that I could never do. The person that I try so hard not to mimic, but to look at and learn from is Kenneth Rocafort, because when you look at everything that he does is super sketchy, and he does, watercolors that are messy, but there's still somehow form to them. And every time I see it, I'm like, how do you do this? Like I've been playing with watercolor lately, and every time I do, I'm like, I don't understand how you make it so gorgeous and it seems so simple, and I'm over here like, nope, that's a giant splotch on my page, I gotta redo it now. Like I don't know what to do with this.
No, that is difficult. There are so many styles that you look at and you think, I'd love to do that. I'd love to draw like that, or I'd love to paint like that, or whatever, or even a fraction. Even just a percentage. Like sometimes it's finding the time, to focus. And we're all prisoners of time, and that whole point is, like I was saying, is if you focus on the thing you want and then go after that, and that'll make life easier. Certainly it will stop so much of the pain. Because I look at other styles, I look at other stuff, I go, oh God, that's so gorgeous, but I don't even bother trying, because I know I'm going to have to put so much time and effort into trying to be like that it's not worth the pain, because I'll never be that.
Exactly. Well, and that's the thing is, it's kind of like when I was talking to people about being a really, really good colorist. I don't think that I have the desire to have the discipline in order for me to be able to learn how to be a really, really good colorist. I can flat, and I would like to be able to color, but doing it digitally is very difficult for me. I like doing traditional, which actually brings us specifically to Unhinged's question. He says, is it traditionally covered? It gives off the Dark Martens watercolor vibe.
No, it's not. It's digitally colored.
Wow.
The whole thing so far is digital, except I do have 11 pages which are part of the higher perks, which will be a mix of digital and actual ink. So you'll get an original piece of artwork in those perks.
Oh, that's awesome. That is really cool.
Um,
Let's go through your perks so people kind of know what they can
yeah.
get, because you've got some really, really cool ones.
Okay. I've got this top one is all the posters. So I have an A3 that's magazine spread, effectively for US magazine spread, and 4 A4 prints. They're black and white prints. They actually appear in the book, but I want them as black and white because I think that the artist, the penciler inker, really, it needs to shine. They're beautiful as they are. So that's why I decided to have them as black and white prints rather than color ones. So that's the featured print where you get the whole lot for that price. But if you go,
insanely cheap.
you get a book and you get the large print and the 4 prints. It's slightly more on the postage because I send the A3 print rolled up. It isn't folded.
Okay.
So that you don't get a crease down it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so if we go down to the next one, that's pretty straightforward. It's just the book. The next one is the list. It's the list, Death's List of Eternity, and you get, so it's a backer list effectively. And then this is the first of the, well, it's number 2, but there's 2 print sets, so you can get one for slightly less. You can get the book and 2 prints, and the 4 guest artists I had in were Amrit Birdie from Username Eve, Mike Emirates, who's a fantastic indie artist, Renzo Rodriguez, who was on Pandemic recently, and Rob Willis. I'm still waiting for the Rob Willis print, but I pretty much figured that I could let everybody know it was a Rob Willis print, and people would be more than happy to know that he's going to come up with some fantastic artwork. And you can also, if you want to, you could just buy the book, or you could just buy the book with your name in the list and just add on the Rob Willis print only for a smaller price. So there is a Rob Willis add-on available. If we go down to the next one, so I do 2 books. So it's you save on the book, save on the postage between 2 people. Then there's the one where I do an A4 sketch. So I'll do that's an original piece of artwork of one of the characters from the book. But if you sign up for one of these and you want something else, I'll draw you something else. I don't mind.
Okay.
And then the penultimate one is an actual page from the book. So like I say, I've got 11 pages that will be inked up in the real world, and 10 of them will be in this tier with a book, and the last tier is everything. So it's the 11th page of artwork, an A4 sketch, all 5 of the prints, 2 books, one to keep, one to read, and a 50 by 50 centimeter canvas of the color artwork from the front cover signed. So that's a collector's bundle.
Very, very cool. So there's a lot of opportunity to get a lot of really amazing art. And if you wanted to see the posters,
yeah, they're further down
right here.
So they're the A4 posters. Like I said, Rob Willis is in development right now. But I
like how you put a quote.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was such a great quote for what he said. Awesome characters. I think I could do a bang up job on this one, Rob Willis. I have absolutely no doubt it will be superb. But all 4 of those posters, all 4 of those ink prints are gorgeous. So and then you can, if you can come and see on my channel as well. You can come see me. I draw panels from the book. So there's already a list of a playlist for the whole book called how to produce a graphic novel, I think, or something like that. Can't remember off the top of my head, but it's right the way from where I started the script, through thumbnails, all kinds of stuff, penciling and what have you. But also I do screen captures. So while I'm producing the book right now, I'm finishing off the inking. I'm going to be doing screen caps of individual panels, so you can come in and see what's going on.
Oh, that's awesome. And I love this. So this is your first stretch goal when you hit 5,000 pounds.
Yeah, when I hit that, you'll get this is the first one. It's an A5, so it's about that big. So rather than a sketch
like a postcard.
it's a postcard color of Pestilence, and I'm hoping, obviously, that it goes on beyond that. And if that's the case, I do have 4 in mind. I'd really like to do a set of 4.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
So you can have all 4 in postcard. I think they'd look really nice in a frame.
Yes, I agree.
And then beyond that, I've also looked into a pin badge for like an Only Death Can Save Us pin badge.
Ooh. Or maybe patches.
Sorry?
Maybe patches.
Well, maybe. Yes, I will. I will look into it. But I've looked at the pin badge. I've also looked into UV spot. So it'd be really nice to have that on the front cover.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And if it went stellar, then I'd even put some more. I'd put a backup story in as well. But that's all like, way out there. If I get the support, then I will definitely be rewarding it back to everybody. How could I not?
Yeah, and the thing is you're some really, really cool looking characters here. You could definitely do some really cool stuff, provided that we can get you enough backing. But that's beautiful. I absolutely love that. Colors in it, the way that like she's positioned and everything, and the really, really heavy blacks, I think they're just so eye-catching. And it's so funny because I look at it, and the more I look, the more I see. So you got these like dragons that are up here. You've got the death skull right in the middle. You got Kirby Crackle down this little portal thing. That's crazy.
There's a little bit of Celtish. It's like I say, I did a lot of research into different areas, and I wanted to put the Celtic stuff in as well. So
it looks really, really cool, and I like how you took it and you made it relevant to your specific kind of brand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it definitely adds to it and is awesome. And you know what, Jason, shut up. I love patches, so kiss my butt. And I'm also asking him about patches for Death Metal Hero. He would be very upset if I hadn't mentioned them because he's got a battle vest, and me and my co-host now have bomber jackets, and we've got stuff like this that we're adding on to them.
Oh, look at that.
Mary bows. Oh, I can't wait. So I'm getting them actually sewn on. But then because it's Mary Boys and because it's so very like 90s grunge, I'm putting safety pins on them too.
Oh, excellent.
Because you have to.
I'll make this commitment now. Once it goes past the 4 Horsemen, the first thing I'll do is a patch. Okay?
Yes.
I'll do that. So I'll look in. I'll go look up Chubb, and I'll ask him where he got his patches from. And
yes, and I have a place too. I don't know if they're going to be cheaper for you because you're UK and they're US, but I can give you the name of them as well.
Okay, so great. That'd be brilliant. Thank you. Yes, because I think a nice skull and or even the logo would look quite cool,
absolutely, so, especially so. And here's the funny thing. All right, I have done now, gosh, how many times have I done a skeleton head for these shows? This is probably about the 4th or 5th time for various campaigns. Like I'm getting real good at doing skulls. Every single one of you guys draw them differently. Every single one of you guys have different things that you highlight and different just the things that you decide to make kind of extravagant and like exaggerated versus the things that are a lot softer. So your guy, the really big cheekbones with the really long jaw, that is such an iconic look. And if you did that as a patch by itself, that would be so badass with the red eyes and
where it as part of the lore, as it were, in the book, his skull head is a complete coincidence. It's not a skull. and he notice the lines. I know you'd notice the lines over the top of the head.
Yeah.
They're almost mechanical looking.
Yes.
So he's kind of a biomechanical mesh. He's not what he appears. He's not what he appears to be in human mythology.
Look at that, Carl.
Coincidental. So
Carl says, Russ, I've got a good source for patches.
yes, cool.
Love you, Carl.
Carl's cool.
See, and then just like Jason said, Butch Cleaver's skull is very stylized. Butch Cleaver was a very, very different skull. So was the Grim Reaper, Carla Tornelli's like Grim Reaper character. It was a very, very different skull as well. And it's so much fun to try and like bring out the various like aspects of them.
You've done a great job with those eyes.
Thank you. The
like
thing that makes me laugh is when I looked in and like first brought out my camera, I was like, oh good, I look like I'm scowling, and I was like, wait, am I scowling? And I had to like check if my eyebrows were actually, I was like, oh no, that's just, I just did okay when I painted it. Carl says skulls are slimming. Jason says they live in your face, they love you. Thank you, Jason. You guys aren't creepy at all. Eric has a real question for us. He says, what are the dimensions of the original art pages?
Yeah, they're A3 pages, so I suppose that's in centimeters, because I know you guys work in inches, don't you?
Yes, we do.
The actual card stock they would be on would be 297 by 420. So I can get a ruler out.
So it's just a little bit under, it's a little bit off of 11 by 17. So it's 11 and 3/4 inch by 16 and a half.
Yeah, it's just under 12 by 16 and a half. Yeah. Yep, that's it.
Wolverine said I should have done my eyelids in red, so when I blink or close my eyes, you get the character's red eyes. I'm not even remotely joking. I have considered it. The problem is when you look in a mirror and you do face paint versus when you're on camera and the way that it reads, it doesn't read the same. So in the mirror, it looked like you were going to see the white of my eyes the entire time. But now that I'm on camera, you barely can tell that my eyes are open. So I totally could have done it and it would have absolutely stood out, but whatever. This is what happens. Jason says we do inches like real humans.
Real humans.
Gosh, you guys are brutal. Be nice to my British guests. Damn it.
We've been, we did all the colonization a while back, but we got colonized by Europe back again. So now we do everything in centimeters.
That's, it's okay. It's okay. It's only incredibly confusing when you try to go clothes shopping in England. No big deal. Like every time I would go clothes shopping and I was like, I feel like it's good for my ego because your guys' sizes for women, the actual number is so much smaller than it is for an American equivalent. So like you could be like a 16 or an 18 in America, and over in England it'd be like, oh, you're a 9. And you're like, oh, I'm gonna buy all my clothes here. It's the same size, but the tag says something different. So it makes you feel better.
Yeah, that's great. It walks into Marks and Spencer's, you always know you can get a nice big pair of pants. Yes.
I remember for whatever reason, because it's not like you guys aren't big people, but for whatever reason, you guys go real big in your clothes sometimes.
Yeah, well, you say that, but the people are getting bigger.
Are they? I've been gone for 5 years. I don't know what's happened since. So when I was there,
too much Kentucky Fried Chicken, I think.
And yes, there is KFC in England, just in case anybody watching thinks he's joking. They actually, obviously, everybody knows that they've got McDonald's. They have KFC. It's not anything like our KFC. It's very weird.
Everything is drive-through, so people can just sit in their cars eating and getting fatter.
And Tony says, Shae at 6 feet, clothes shopping would be difficult anywhere, I'd imagine. You are not wrong, sir.
Yeah.
6'1" female. There's no
wow.
options. Yeah, I'm a giant.
Yeah.
Unhinged wants to know, are the original pages on Bristol Blue Line?
They're on Bristol board.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it doesn't have the blue line outline for a comic book page?
Yes.
Oh, so
Yes.
there you go.
Yeah, but it's my own grid. So
Oh, okay. Okay. Nice. Well, everybody in the chat, thank you guys so much for hanging out. We got 17 people. I appreciate you guys sharing this out. I have no idea what's going on with YouTube because I definitely set this up an hour and a half in advance, so everyone should have gotten a notification. And for whatever reason, like nobody seems to anymore. But yeah, if you guys have any other questions, please post them in the chat. Is there any other little bits or anything that you want to mention, Russ, or any other little things about the project you wanted to tell people?
no, I mean it's pretty much straightforward. It's there for you on the Indiegogo. Check it out. Check me out on my channel. Like I say, you can follow me doing some of the artwork. You can see how much the artwork's been put together so far. As was said in there, it's 60 pages of story, but it'll be an 80+ page book.
Which is awesome.
I'll be putting in a character gallery, some backgrounds on me and some other people, but it's mostly going to be art. There will be a concept art section, and I'll probably put some pencils in there as well, so that you can see production. So it'll be rounded. It is 80+. It could well end up being 90, but I said 80+ because that's going to be the minimum.
Exactly. Jason wanted to know, are all of the issues written or plotted out?
The arc is plotted. The second issue is I have the story for it, yes. And then there are plot points that are already put together for 3 and 4, which it could be 3, could be 4, but I think I want it to be 4. I've also got a guy called Rick Hoskin helping me out with the story, and he's doing dialogue for me as well, which he's doing a brilliant job on. And he's been around the block a few times. He knows exactly what he's doing. And my editor, Tim Quinn, who used to edit for Marvel way back, he's an XXXX Marvel editor, and he again knows his craft. So yeah, the story is there, and like I say, I've written the second issue out already in the hope that the first book will be well received.
I do not see how this is not going to do well. The artwork is solid. The colors are very much a throwback, nostalgia kind of look. The story just seems like it's kind of just good old fashioned fun. Like I'm excited for this. This seems like a really interesting one.
Thank you. That's what I want to do. You know, like a comic. It's like the catch at the end is like the way comics used to be.
Right.
And that's not to put down anybody else, because there's lots of it. Like I say, the indie scene at the moment is exploding. There's lots of throwbacks to the 90s, which is absolutely nothing wrong with, because there was so much bombastic action and energy in the 90s. And that's what you need right now with a thriving indie scene, with the mainstream kind of falling over a little bit, let's say. I'm being kind there. And I don't want to focus on what I think is going wrong. I'd rather focus on what's going right. And Indie's doing everything right at the moment. It's creating energy. It's about creating a buzz so that, you know, eventually you do get normies back in. That's what we want. We want to sell books to everybody. We want to sell our stories to as many people as we possibly can. And that's not just people that, you know, turn up at comic book shops. I love comic book shops. I'm a nerd. I love going into them, but I didn't buy a comic book from a comic book shop when I was a kid. I bought them from, you know, the store. I went down the store and they were all in front of me at eye level. And when they took the comics out of the stores and into comic book shops, that was the first nail in the coffin. And I understand there's lots of business reasons. You can't just slate it. There's lots of reasons for why it happened. But that was a major deal, because you started losing the all ages readership. And then, you know, in the 90s, don't get me wrong, I love Killing Joke. I love Watchmen, deconstructing these things. They're brilliant stories. but the execs, the bean counters, they went, all right, okay, make more stories like that. And lots of creators kind of went on the dark train, as it were. And we forgot a whole generation of readers, and that's why we've kind of lost out. And now with Indiegogo, with the internet, you've got a whole massive shop window, which is where younger readers are, where normal people are, all
Right.
looking online, looking for different things, looking for different entertainment. And people are kind of, in general, I think, getting a little bit jaded with the entertainment that they are getting, especially from the film industry. And I think there's an opportunity there for all of us to tell those stories. And so I wanted to bring back that Bronze Age, bring back that stuff that inspired me. And along with a few other people that are doing similar things, there's only a couple of us. And I thought this is the opportunity to bring to life those things that I love in an environment that's just, like I say, it's fizzing and bubbling with creativity and with excitement and energy. So it's a great time to be making comics. But you do have to pull your finger out and get on and do it. And I'd been talking about doing this for a couple of years. I wrote my first script 5 years ago. And fortunately, a lot of it's to do with you getting freelance work. I'm a freelancer. I have been now since 2010. So you kind of have to go where the money is. And this year has given me the opportunity, as terrible as the year has been in so many different ways, it gave me some space to get on and do this. And hopefully this is all I'm going to do. So
I hope so. This is it seems like something that you're good at and you're very passionate about, which is what we need. So we actually got a couple of questions and comments that I wanted to highlight up for you. First off, we're going to go to 656. Thank you for the 50 pesos to make it sound like a lot of money. It's $2.35. Thank you very much, 656. It says, great Undertale cosplay, Shae. Here's $250 for your cosplay fund, and back. Only death can save us. The last part of that is very, very true. Go back this book. It's amazing. Jason wanted to know, did you do everything, even the lettering?
Yes, I've done everything, even the lettering. The lettering is definitely a skill. It's not something you should just throw away. In my defense, I've been a designer for more years than I'd care to mention. I started in late 80s out in the world of work as a designer. I've been an art director, a retail designer, point of sale designer, magazines, publishing, brochures. So I feel I know my way around design, around publishing, and then of course I have drawn comics for a living. So I feel like I've got what it takes to be a decent letterer. If only on my own book. But yes, I do all the pencils and inking myself. And the colors for the cover are by a guy called Mike Summers, who's a fabulous colorist. I've worked with him on many occasions for Unstoppable Comics. JD Rosario runs Unstoppable Comics, and he hails out of New York. Go check them out if you do have a chance, because they are a fantastic company. They were doing diversity before Marvel even thought it was a good idea. And we're talking about proper diversity here.
Yeah.
Okay, proper diversity.
Not virtue signaling.
No, none of that crap. This guy's solid. And he did it in a way that, because it was all about the backstories, but also his talent. He doesn't give a monkeys. He just wants to make great stories, and he does it really, really well. Anyway, that's where I met Mike. So Mike did the colors on the front cover, and I've done the colors on everything else bar Amrit Birdie's pin up for the inside. So he's done the black and white for the print, but he also did some lovely colors, and that's kind of anime-ish. Which he's superb artist, wonderful artist. So I've used his colors on the inside for that, but everything else is me. Yeah.
Tony wants to know, are you related to Gary Leach?
I wish I was. No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
We also got right here. Jason, thank you so much, sir, for the $5. It says, is he a fan of Ron Friends? Thor 411 was my first comic, and this is a nostalgic orgasm.
Thanks. Yeah, it's yeah, yes. I'm not a mega fan, no, but like his work.
Okay, and then Batgoat, thank you for the $5. Says I'm going to tip the makeup as well. I appreciate you, sir. I'm running low on this makeup. I got to go buy more.
It's definitely worth tipping because it's fabulous. You've done such a brilliant job. I'm really impressed. And I'm going to have to get a screen capture because what I'm going to do is up on my website, Only Death Can Save Us website. So you can go find out more about it there. I am going to be putting up a fan art. I got fan art. I almost cried when
That's so awesome.
I was absolutely welling up when I saw people doing fan art, and for you to dress up like this with that backdrop, so that's going on there as well. So I'm going to do a page for fan art. So.
I'll make sure to get you some of the good screen grabs. That I love doing this. This is fun. This is really fun for me, and you got a really badass character, which makes it more fun to do because. It just means that I get to do ridiculous, crazy stuff, and cool. And then people are like, "Wow, that's impressive!" And I was like, "Yeah, that is a very impressive character design. I just put it on my face." Well, honestly, Russ, this has been such a joy. You are a phenomenal creator. You have a very, very good-looking book, and this is something that I think people need to get behind for sure. This is a real nice nostalgia hit. This is something that is, I think is going to scratch that itch for a lot of people if you want to kind of have a really like nice old school kind of feeling of storytelling, but with new characters.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm hoping I'll scratch the itch. It will be something for other people to see as something different and new because the younger readers won't have seen it before, and then people will stick around for a fun cosmic, romp. The way you used to, like Cosmic Cube, Thanos, Captain Marvel, all that kind of stuff. That the real Captain Marvel, all that kind of cosmic action. That's what I'm into, and it's just it's a flight of fancy. It's sci-fi fantasy. Mm-hmm. You can lose yourself in it and have a good time. And hopefully, my book will be of a standard for other people. That's for other people to decide if it's a good enough standard or not. I'll be putting everything into it, and professionally, it will be the best I can make it. But hopefully, people will want to say, "Yeah, I want to keep that in my collection. That's something I want to keep."
Absolutely.
The absolute dream would be that I'm able to do this as a series and then put the lot out, or at least in sections, maybe the first 4 books out as a hardback black and white.
Oh,
that would be what I'd love to do, but we'll wait and see. Hopefully people will like the book and want to support it.
Well, so you got Tony saying that he's a backer and he's looking forward to the book, but we need to create more awareness somehow.
Yeah, please.
Eric McIntyre says, I agree. And I'm going to throw it in there. I agree as well. Okay. I've got to show you because Jason is going to have a heart attack if I don't show. So you were at 37% when we started this. You are now sitting at 41%.
Oh wow!
So you've gained some backing. You are at $2,677 US dollars. So you're getting closer for sure. I definitely recommend that people go and get in on this. This is going to be a really fun project. And just look at that panel right there. There's so much going on. And it's just so crazy. Like it seems like such a fun.
Do you want to see a piece of art now?
Absolutely. Always.
Yeah, I'll show you a piece of art now. Hold on a sec. Let me get something up. Mm-hmm. Sorry about the dead air. There is no such problem. Thing as dead air. I'm clicking through now.
You're fine. Take your time.
Where are we? Okay. There's
the thing is this it's a really, really crazy looking book that just seems like it's going to be so much fun that I think people need to get on for sure.
Here's a panel, so I'll just share Share screen. Share. Here you go.
Ooh.
So that's the introduction of Satana.
Damn, that is crazy.
And if we go, sorry, I've got to use my keyboard.
Nope, you're fine. You're fine.
There we go. And
Whew.
they're turning up at one of the places in the book, and this guy here, that's Namtar. So there you go.
I don't like him.
No, you're not supposed to. I'll
No,
stop that.
I don't
now.
like him. He doesn't seem like a good guy.
I don't want to show up too much, but if anybody's seen the 8-page preview, they'll notice that he's very similar to the Dr. Namtar. So something's happened to him, and he then becomes a secondary villain that we'll use in the second book.
Oh, that's exciting.
So there's bits and pieces thrown in there. There's also the odd nod to some of the things that I love. So there's little bits and pieces. Yeah, you'll find them. If you're looking for them, you'll find them. So
oh, that's exciting. Okay, everybody, this is what I need you guys to go and do. Okay, I need you guys to share this out as much as you can. If you want to share this video so people can hear Russ and just the passion and the love that he has for this project, do that. If you want to share screen grabs of the makeup, do that. If you want to share just the straight up Indiegogo page, freaking do that, okay? Because Russ needs more eyes on this project so badly. This is a really, really cool looking book, and this is something that we want to make sure gets made, into fruition for all of us, because we want this. We want this series. And definitely we just got to help Russ out a little bit, man.
Yeah, it's not just a passion for this book, it's a passion for comics. I just like, I got stuff sitting here. I got Downcast the other day.
Oh, Downcast,
I backed Fatal. That just looks Snowgan's art. Oh my god.
Oh, I can't wait.
So we're talking about a different artist. I mean, I couldn't do that. Just stunning, absolutely stunning art. But yeah, I've got like old comics here. I've got new comics. I've got all kinds of stuff up there. I got Dave Brink's work the other day. I picked up Mary Boys. Yep. Obviously waiting for Wreck Planet, Jawbreakers. So there's so many others up there as well. I try and support the people about me, but to be honest, I am selective. I mean, we all have to be selective.
Yeah, there's not enough money to
there's not enough money to support all those fantastic creators. I hang around. I've got some books from Kickstarter. I've got some books from here, all kinds of places. If the project is worthy, if it piques my interest, and to be honest, I can be a little bit shallow sometimes. So I kind of look at the pictures first.
Oh, I do too.
and
if the art doesn't get me, then I have a lot harder time.
I'm a sucker for it. I really am. But I've got to see it telling a story. It's not just about pretty pages. I have a deep love of sequential art. I also do storyboarding as well, and it's the movement, it's that sequential aspect to it, and making that work. It's energy. You get that, and so for instance, Snowgan's work or EVS's work, or the energy that you see, Fragger's. I mean, just the energy that's in it, and it's that really pulls me in. So if I see that in a book, bang, I'm sold, and I just love the whole medium. It's a fabulous medium. So yeah, but all that passion siphoned into my book as well.
So we got Eric McIntyre. We need to get you on the other CG streams. Androtaz says, Shae, get Russ in contact with Dan. I'm gonna work on it. I promise. Yes, Absolute is another great one that you should definitely go back if you haven't already, especially if you are in love with really good black and white line art and just really detailed kinds of pictures. Jason is unbelievable with what he can do, so definitely go check out Absolute as well while you're checking out all these awesome projects.
Is that on Indiegogo?
That absolutely is.
Right, okay, go down. I'm going to go take a look now.
Oh yeah, it's Jason's a powerhouse for sure, and he actually hired me to be his editor, so that was kind of cool.
Oh,
I got to
right.
read the
Okay.
book ahead of time, and I'm telling you, it's a
Mhm.
good story.
Oh, yeah. Check that out.
Right. Poncho from 656 says that you can be on their Spanglish show if you're interested. The 656 crew is awesome.
Do you come
They are
for?
super
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll hook up on Twitter. That seems to be the place everyone goes.
Yes,
Where all the young people go.
right?
So yes. I think I'm already following that. I seem to remember that name.
I'll get you there's a whole
Yeah,
crew of them. I'll get you
yeah.
their
Okay.
Twitters if you don't have them.
Yeah, please.
Jason says
Yeah.
now he's nervous. And I agree. I think Dan would really dig your artwork.
Oh,
I really do. So
that would be
I'll
very nice because I deeply respect what he can do, and he seems to be a genuinely lovely guy. So
he
yeah,
is a phenomenal person
yeah.
for sure. Well, guys, it is about that time. We just crossed the hour mark, and this book is amazing. This is something that definitely needs more eyes. It needs more backing. We got 19 days left on the first 30. We're at 41% funded. So let's push as much as we can. See if we can't get this funded at least in the first 30 days because Russ deserves it, and he's busting his butt, and he has a genuine love for comics and a genuine love for storytelling. This is something that we want to make sure that we help support because I think that this is going to be one of those stories that we're going to talk about long term. And the only way that's going to happen is if we make it come to fruition. So make sure that we share this out and we do all that we can. I agree, Jason. Dan is a walking heart. That is very, very true. Thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out. Russ, thank you very much for coming on. This is
no
amazing.
problem at all. Thank you for your time. Thank you for having me on. Thank you for putting together an absolutely stunning costume. Brilliant. Thanks to whoever that was that backed me. Thank you, and everyone in the chat. Hail the chat. Thank you.
Oh yeah, we've got amazing people in the chat while you guys are going out and checking out everything. Oh, thank you, Jason.
Oh,
Jason's a proud backer.
Thank you. Peace.
There you go. While you guys are going and checking out all of this amazing stuff, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to Red Valkyrie. Hit that bell for notification and make sure that you are hanging out with us in October when we do our giveaway extravaganza for hitting monetization, for me turning the big 3-5, and for Cy finally getting back into the damn country after 7-something months. Having me fly solo all this time. That's some bullshit. So make sure that you guys check us out, and we will catch all of you absolutely beautiful people next time. We'll see you later.